This now. The promise of flowing taps is starting to sound like a hit song over the festive period. It gets us excited, but then all too soon it becomes overplayed. We've heard Joburg water officials promising communities better supply, but much uncertainty remains. eNCA reporter Bafedile Moerane tracking those developments. Well, she joins me right now to discuss this as well as the very latest. Bafedile, a very warm good morning to you, colleague. Can you give us some feedback in terms of the levels at the reservoirs at the moment?
Well, Joburg Water is rest assuring residents here to say that at this point in time, the water levels are picking up. But they have also highlighted to say that in areas like Brixton, Crosby, among others, there's still some challenges there. But however, they're saying in the meantime, they are bringing the water tanker system as part of the short-term intervention. However, they are also still in the process of building some reservoirs to augment the capacity. As we know that there has been other issues or factors that have been highlighted in relation to the water shortage or water supply that is being encountered in many parts of Gauteng. Those factors that include the population density growth and also the issues of infrastructure, among others, having to compound to the challenges that water supply it's actually being encountered at this point in time. But however, they are saying that they have put some other mitigation plans of water shifting, among others, and throttling of water, which means that they reduce the pressure of the reservoirs in that regard during the night, so that in the morning they open it to 100% as part of ensuring that they speedify the levels of water in the reservoirs. So let us listen to Rand Water representative who was engaging us earlier on during the press briefing. Dumelo.
If you look at the Reservoir 1 and 2, it has improved from last Friday, which was 19%. It has moved to 33%. If we look at Reservoir number 2, it has moved to 31%. Fontaine 1 and 2, it has moved from 46 to 49. And Fontaine number 2, it has moved from 44 to 46. So you can see that there is some progress in terms of the level of the rainwater system, especially those reservoirs that are critical in terms of supplying the city of Joburg. If I go to the next slide, if we now look at the systems within the city of Joburg, and we start with the critical system, which is our commando system. If you remember last week, we indicated that the commando system is supplied from the Ekenhof rainwater system via the White Ridge system into our commando meter. Normally, we get about 2,500 cubes an hour. We're currently sitting just below 2,500 cubes. In terms of average flows, we're just sitting at below 12,000 cubes an hour, meaning that we're not at normal supply yet, but the system, as we said, the system is still on recovery. In the last 24 hours, the maximum flows that we received was around 25,000 cubes an hour. But that is just the peak. But if you look at the 24-hour average, we're still around 2,000 cubes an hour.
So, Bafedile, what's then being done to avert these concerns?
The entity is saying at this point there are some constructions that are continuing, and the plan is to ensure that the construction is done by this year so that they can have reliable water to residents. But in the meantime, in terms of the short term, they are, they have dispatched the water tankers that are at this point in time in question there, Dumelo, having to say that there are allegations of water tender mafias at this point in time. But however, the entity is saying that from their side, they have not realized that. And however, they are going to lodge investigations at this point to see where does this really come from, because there's absolutely no way we can have smoke without fire. So at this point in time, Tumelo, let us listen to the response from the entity.
What we are doing in terms of trying to boost the system, we close the outlet of the reservoirs in the evenings between 9 and 4 in the morning, so that we have some capacity to be able to supply during the day. Normally we open the outlet of the reservoir at 100% in the morning. There are areas within that supply system that are critical in terms of supply, where they get low to no water at times, especially during peak times. You know, places like your Jan Hofmeyer, your Sophia Town, Coronationville, Westin, those are some of the areas that are critical at this point in time within the commando system. So what we're doing to try and lessen the impact of the no water or low supply is we are providing or supplementing the supply with you know, your roaming water tankers. That's the first intervention we're doing. As I mentioned, we're also closing so that at least the morning part or the morning peak period, there is enough capacity to meet that demand. But what we had started doing, which we started today, is to try and see if we can't supply that zone from an adjacent zone, and it's an exercise that we're doing. And if it's successful, then it should be able to lessen the impact.
I understand that also, Bafedile, the blame has also been placed on ailing infrastructure.
Certainly, Tumelo, ailing infrastructure, the entity has also agreed, you know, it does not deny that the decaying of infrastructure, it's one of the factors that are contributing to the challenges they are encountering at this point in time. But however, also the issue of population density, the capacity does no longer can supply for a growing number of people in the city of Johannesburg. So they are saying that those are some of the things they are looking into. Hence, they are saying they are also in the process of building the reservoirs as part of augmenting the capacity of water storage. So let us listen to the entity representative.
Some of the infrastructure is quite old. I don't think it's a secret. If we look at the infrastructure within the Brixton, Crosby, and Hastile system, some of it is 60 years old. And it's because of that reason that we doing infrastructure upgrade. Now, if we have been following the commando system for a previous 5 years or so, we would note that the issue of water supply within that zone, you know, has been coming for some time. And because of that, as the institution or organization, we then raised the projects that my colleague Joseph has indicated, so that we can rehabilitate and we can then upgrade that system. The area supplied, I think we all know, has increased in terms of density, not in terms of area, but in terms of density. Most of the properties have been converted into student accommodation, and as a result, your demand, you know, actually goes far ahead of your ability to upgrade the system. So why I'm giving this background is just to try and eliminate the suspect of valves that are being manipulated so that, you know, we can use the tankers. That problem, I think, is coming a few years. It's not an issue that started today.
Well, Bafedile, that's where we leave in. Thank you so much for this update. That's eNCA's reporter, Bafedile Moerane, at the back of that briefing by Joburg Water this morning regarding areas highly affected by lack of access to water. Crosby, Brixton, as well as Hursthill, some of the main areas that they've been just alluding to, where they find the constraint in rather supply of water there.